Hi guys, Kelly Walters here. I am just going to quickly cut my material off my cutter and then we will dive right into today's Facebook and YouTube live session. For those of you that are new, that are tuning in with us, I'm Kelly Walters here with Stahls and part of our education team. And today we are going to be talking about unique location placements for t-shirts. Of course, these could be utilized for long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, crew necks, possibly even hoodies. But today we're just going to focus on t-shirts. They're easy and there's so much room for decoration possibilities. So as people are pulling in and tuning in live, I'm just going to quickly cut this. We will start weeding. We're not going over any artwork today. It is simply about where you can utilize putting a logo on a shirt. So think of it in terms of retail space. Space, location, and really making sure that you are able to bring unique ideas to your customers. So if you are just tuning in, tell us where you are from. I do have a different setup today. We're going to pretty much be on the full view. And then I will pop over to my left because I do have my computer here so I can see comments and respond. So if you see me go from here to here, then you know that is why. Now, once we have, put all of the logos on the shirt, then I will also show you up front and center. That way you guys can see everything. So you will still get to see me up close and personal and make sure that you guys really get that full experience of being able to see what we are doing, not just from a difference like you would for that, that full view. Hopefully some words are going to come out right today. View. Let's see, we got, I'm just going to say Kansas City, TC, but I believe you're in Lee's Summit. We've got Georgia, Florida, Chicago, the UK, let's see, California, Oregon, Connecticut. I love it. South Africa. That's amazing. Eagle Eye Printing. Okay, tuning in on the other side of things with Stahls is Danielle. If you guys have any questions, she's going to be able to help answer them. Because we aren't really talking about materials or garments, there isn't going to be a whole lot of links. No, we are going to be using EasyWeave today because it's the perfect t-shirt material. It's also very, very easy to use. I'm going to be using it in the royal blue, and then I will be using just a plain white district t-shirt. So, I enjoy those really like nice soft wash garments. But yeah, this is more of an education moment, not an inspiration moment, unless you want to take one of the locations and then run and show your customers. So yeah, let's go back to the full view. Hello, everybody keeps commenting in. Hello, I love to see where you guys are all from. YouTube side and Facebook side. It's great to see you guys all tuning in live with us. All right, let me just quickly cut this. Now, what I'm going to do to show you guys all of these placements is just use something that just says here and here and here. How about here? Try here. I kind of wanted to put a little bit of humor in there because it's so easy to stay, easy, right? And left chest, front center, back neck, shoulder. Obviously, we know all of those placements, and we do have a placement guide to help you guys with sizing. Now, in this case, I am just going to make a shirt that you could easily make for yourself. If you have a retail space, then you could post it up in your retail space. For those of you that are home-based, garage-based, basement-based, I have seen some pretty incredible basement shops If you guys don't have customers coming in or out, this is something that you could, you know, take a picture of and then post it on your social media account, your website, and then it just really gets, you know, your customers thinking. Now, the other thing I will preface is that not all customers are looking to be unique and different. So I do understand that some of these placements are going to be a little out of the norm, but that's the whole point of the video. So if you do come in contact with that customer that has that ability to kind of do something a little more trendy or different, or just prefers to have a different type of t-shirt than, you know, Bob next to them, great. Now, if you have some specific locations that you absolutely love that I don't talk about, make sure you pop them in the comments, because sharing is caring. And I also love to see what everybody else is utilizing. You know, I try to think outside of the box for you guys, but awesome brains can unite and come up with some pretty cool things. So if you're just tuning in, like I said, this is Ultra Weed. This is, I believe it is the royal blue. Let me just clarify the correct color. Going in and just weeding out the cavities. This is a fairly decent sized font, so it is very easy to weed. That's why it's called Ultra Weed. It weeds so easily. Okay. And like I said, I will be checking back in on the comments, which is right here. You just can't see it. Eagle Eye, clients asking about bottom left or front left. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. And as you can see, Danielle did post the link for the design placement guide. So she put it right at your fingertips. Go on there, save it, print it off, do what you need to do. Keep it available for you. Okay. We are almost done. I do have some squares on here as well, just because I am going to do like a full front. We have had some pretty cool shirts done here at Stahls where all of the locations have a unique color. So that's another way to really kind of market the possibilities, you know, for customers. If you do a lot of custom shirts, then the customers could reference the color that they saw versus trying to describe the location that they want. I'm all about making things easy for customers. Obviously, we want things to be easy for the decorator as well, because at the end of the day, if it's hard and you're really spending so much time on it and you don't have the right margins plugged in, is it worth it? So, a couple more squares. Now we are wasting a lot of material today, and that's because of the squares I'm pulling out. If you want to be resourceful and you wanted to make some squares, you could easily take this and then just use some thermo tape, tape it down to a shirt, and then utilize it for other sections. Let's see, last square, it's the big one. This is what I'm going to use for my full front. Now, some of these locations that I'm going to show you are also, what's the word I'm looking for? In addition to a main logo. So if you were doing a full front, then just know there's other spots that you could utilize to put their brand or their school, their mascot. If they have different types of logos, then you could just brand the heck out of the shirt. but using smaller designs doesn't make it so in your face, like this person has just decked out a t-shirt. Instead, it's more of a pop where people go, oh, that's really cool, and then they don't forget that shirt. Okay, let's see. Hello from India. Let's see. Okay, so we have a couple of questions in terms of t-shirt business, shirt brands. We can go over that after if you want to hang on just a little bit. Okay, guys, we are going to trim this, cut these puppies out. Okay. Now I'm going to start with the front of the shirt and then go to the back. So if you are taking notes, I'm going to kind of just work my way down the t-shirt, I guess. The other thing is I'm going to go ahead and place let's just cut that guy off. The center front logo, we all know about that, but I'm just going to get it on there anyways. And then the left chest, and then I will get going. It's funny not having my table directly in front of me today. This is when a 16 by 20 platen comes in really handy. So I am just going to use the logos. I'm just sticking in there for right now. Normally I will stick logos all over the place. Okay, use that one. All right, these are 2 by 2 squares. So just as a reference for size, I can send you the file that I made if you would like. That way, if you want to just go ahead and duplicate it, it's very, 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 very easy for you to do. These are just 2 by 2 squares. Everything else I've kind of done in between 2.5, 3, and 6 inches in length. Again, this is just for reference. So if you know that you need to go in and adjust it on your side, then you can definitely do so. This is just an Arial font. And then I use the outline square in CADWorks Live. That's how I created this. Very, very simple. Very simple. All right, here's all. I didn't realize I was going to be wearing blue today. Well, I did, but apparently I picked blue on blue. So here's everything that we're going to be using. So try here and here, here and here. Hopefully you see my comedy in this. Okay, now there are a couple of things to keep in mind with a heat press, right? So with a heat press, you have the ability to kind of maneuver the shirt how you want it. If you have a seam, then place a pillow in there. That way the seams will go into the pillow. That gives you the ability to kind of just decorate the heck out of a shirt, a pillowcase, a jacket, especially with the zippers. A jacket's another one that is really fun to think outside of the box, because at that point you're dealing with split seams. Most of the time you're dealing with pockets. So not only do you have right here that you could decorate, you also have right here. You could do this tiny little pocket. You could do inside of the pocket. You could do something where it's almost peeking out of the pocket. So many opportunities. All right, so of course the first thing we are going to do is thread our shirt. And again, I am using an auto clamp, a Hotronix auto clamp. It is a 16 by 20, and I do have it on the floor stand. I'm about 5'4". Well, I go in between 5'3", 5'4", And for the most part, I believe I have my stand all the way down. If it's not all the way, it's just a smidge up, but it makes it the perfect way for me to kind of grab and pull down versus, you know, the auto clam being on a table. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is just pre-press. I do have it at 12 seconds because Ultra Weed applies anywhere from 280 to 300, 260 to 300 degrees. Right now I'm at 300. I'm just going to drop it down to 280 because we do not need to be cooking that high today. And then it does apply for 12 seconds on medium pressure. So let me see. I know I need to adjust that. I need to give it one more crank and we'll be good to go. All right, the first one we are going to be using, you guys, is our full front. I'm still pretty particular about aligning things correctly. So even though this is a just for show shirt, we are going to do our best to line it up. Now I am going to put it more in the middle just because we are going to utilize a left chest. And of course, you know, your logo would not be this far down on the garment. All right, so the first one we're doing is our full front. So here we go. 12 seconds. The next one we're going to do is the left chest. Now, with the left chest, I'm actually going to be using the font versus the square. I need my little table today, and I don't have it. Okay, so as you can see, we'll just leave it right there. Easy, right? We all know this. It's the full front. It's more like belly, but you get the point. So from here, the next thing we are going to do is use our left chest. Now, like I said, this is a 2x2 logo, you guys. So it is a square, very, very, very easy. Now, I know we are not up close and personal today when it comes to heat applying, but hopefully you guys can see this on a decent view. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just add the left chest. So option 1, option 2. Now, the only reason why I'm not tacking down is because I'm not layering, but for this purpose, you know, nobody's wearing this shirt. I'm going to go ahead and actually adjust it to about 8 seconds because we are going to go over and over and over a couple of logos. All right, hot peel. Somehow I got a piece of metallic on there. All right, so this one, oh, and I just realized I put the square there and that was supposed to be a font. Okay, so this one I'm really, really excited about. Very different. It is try here, okay? So it has a slight arc to it and it's actually gonna go around the collar of the neck. Now, this is definitely more retail, Etsy, I'm going to say craft inspired, but crafter with a path. You know, you want to make some money. It's not just for yourself. So what I'm saying when you use the try here, use a fun phrase like happy or inspired or something small like thankful. Because this is 7 letters, I would definitely go smaller in the size. I'm talking like yay tall and small, but without actually measuring and just trying to whip it up, this is what we're going to be going with. Okay, now the other thing is I didn't actually measure the arc. So for those of you that are, you have the ability to kind of map out the curve, then I would definitely recommend doing that. In this case, like I said, this is just for guided purposes. So if you can see right here, it is actually above the left chest logo. Now, what I would do is not have a left chest logo here, and I wouldn't even have a full front. It would just be something simple, kind like a phrase, volunteering. So there's so much that you could do right now. All right, I think this is the best angle that I like it at. So we're going to run with that. Now, I have not put the pillow under here yet. I would have put the pillow under there because you're now at the shoulder seams and then, of course, the collar. So that guy is on there. I'm going to be fighting this cover sheet the entire time. Okay, let's see here. So just to give you an idea where we're at. So this says try here. I'm wearing a mic, so if this goes a little wonky on sound, my apologies. So if you look, this is how I would do it. And then I would do also something a little bit more delicate versus, just a simple aerial, but you can play with the sizing. Okay, so let's keep going. Like I said, Stahls has done a shirt before. It was one of our trade shows. It might have been a couple of years ago. The guy was wearing maybe a t-shirt or a hoodie, a full zip, and then some sweatpants. And it was just decked out, right, in colors of squares. So it basically showed you overlapping sections. So if this was the size of logo that you did, that it would overlap the full front, but it was just a really, really cool visual to teach our customers, and then for our customers then to teach their customers all about, utilizing the entire space of a shirt. Not all at once, but, picking and choosing where you would like to add logos. Okay, the next one we are going to do is down at the bottom. So from here, it would be the left-hand side, but we're going to change it a little bit. Actually, we're going to go right hand. So the bottom right-hand side, we're just going to do a font. And this one is going to be, let's go to this one. Sorry, guys. And here. So as you can see, I've got a couple of different sizes of and here's. So obviously you can choose to use whatever size you would like. But in this case, this is how I would visualize, a larger logo. That one took a doozy to get out. Okay. So I am putting it down here, like I said. Now there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can either start it right at the seam. That way it is almost halfway. There we go. Right at the seam. That way it is wrapping around the body. Or you could do it to where it is more right on that hip pocket. I'm going to wrap just because I think it's intriguing to see something start here and then wrap partially there. Of course, the size of the logo also matters. So that's one thing to consider. Now, because we are dealing with this side seam, you have a couple of options. This is a pillow. It's a printing pillow that you could stick under here and then have your seam fold. So if you are actually printing on the seam, then that would be another way to make sure that the seam goes into the pillow, and then you're getting that even press as much as possible with the heating element. Okay, so I'm going to rotate my shirt just a wee bit. And then I am going all the way to the bottom, right above that hem. Cover sheet. Another 8 seconds. And then my next favorite is a vertical print. I love seeing seams being utilized. And then it really just draws the eye in versus like, oh, that's just an all over. Just to show you if you're just now tuning in, we have done the full front. We have done a left chest. We've done a new little collar print that is on this side. And then we just did the and here that is starting at the seam, wrapping around to the bottom of the shirt. Now, like I said, vertical was one that I said we are going to do, but I'm going to switch it up. So one other print that I really, really like is taking a shape or a symbol and then putting it again on the hip. But in this case, you could either put it on the seam, you could put it right in the pocket, but this is going to represent a shape versus a font. So I am actually going to do it again on, let's actually, how do I want to do it? I'm going to do it over the seam because with heat printing, you can print over seams. All right. So here we have split the seam in half. We put the square over it. As you can see, this is the short sleeve. All right, 8 seconds. You guys have any questions or you are just now tuning in? We are going over unique placements for t-shirts. If you have questions, pop them in the comments. I will do my best to answer them. And if I don't get to them and Danielle sees them, who is on the other side for Stahls, then she will do her best to answer them as well. Okay, so another recap. As you can see, we have the font here, and then we've switched it to where now the logo. So those of you that do fan wear, spirit wear, this is when I would put, you know, the mascot silhouette, or if it's something easy like a dog, a bear, maybe a cat, because you could do a paw, antlers, I don't know, anything that could be placed into that square. So right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 placements, 3 of them being a little bit more unique than the next. Okay, right now I'm going to go ahead and flip it to the back. Now I didn't do a shoulder print, you know, where a name would go. I'm not doing a full back because you know those. You could take that full back and put it obviously on the back. But what I am going to do is take that right side, okay, and then we are going to use, making sure I've got 2 of the same, okay, this guy. So it's a little bit smaller. I think this one is 4 inches. What can I do that to when I wash it? Sorry, I'm reading a comment. I don't know what can I do that don't go to when I wash it. I'm not quite sure what that means, so I will come back to it afterwards. Rhonda, so yes, I would strongly encourage you to use a pillow on a seam. In this particular situation, I am not washing this shirt. This is a show piece only. Nobody's going to wear it around. For durability and testing purposes, I strongly encourage using the pillow because you just want to make sure that you do get even heat. Even if you're using a Hotronix, you're going to have that snake-like effect with the heating element. But if you have any type of curve or bump on a straight platen, then there might be one piece that isn't getting that even heat. So in this case, instead of me fighting with the pillow to do 10 different spots, that's the only reason why I am not using the pillow, but I would if you are going to be wearing and washing the garment regularly. Okay, let's see. And Miguel, yes, the cover sheet is winning. All right, guys, so back at it. Now what I'm going to be doing, we had briefly talked about it, is I am going to go vertical along the seam. So in this case, I'm going to choose just a little bit more of a unique. I'm not going to start at the seam. I'm actually going to do kind of the mid portion of that. So I am not on the seam. I am right in front of it. Okay. Almost done. Let me just peel that guy. Now, this next I have been seeing more and more. It is actually utilizing the shoulder seam, okay? So this is your t-shirt, right? Shoulder seams. You can either go front or back. In this case, because maybe we chose to do a full front, I would choose to do the back shoulder for a logo. Now, this is a different option instead of doing back neck, which you can see we already have one. So I'm actually going to place the logo along the seam right here. I may need my pillow for this one. Yep. If I can find it. Let's see. Alrighty, so let's just thread this guy in there. Now, what I'm doing with the pillow is just making sure that I have the pillow on the spot that I need. So I'm just kind of maneuvering the shirt where I want it. Now, I would probably use a larger pillow on this to make sure you're going from shoulder to shoulder and pulling that out, just pulling that shirt as much as possible. Just going to stay running with this guy. Now, I do have a smaller logo here. One of these days, I'll figure it out that it's opposite. So I'm just going to trim this down so I can see it. And then let's get applying. Now, I have seen anything from, again, another little mascot symbol on this to, a simple word. If you don't have an ampersand as a logo, or maybe you only have 1 to 2 logos and they just differ in colors, then that is a way for you to make a recommendation to your customer on putting something there that maybe represents their brand or is just a simple initial, 2 initials of their business. I am using the pillow, so I'm just adjusting my pressure a little bit. Okay, still going to go for 8 seconds. And easy peasy, we are done. You guys can see what this looks like. Now we have the seam logo right there, or phrase. And then now we have a new little, let me see it, right there. So it's small, but when it is on somebody, just remember it would be like this. Now, here's something else that I've also loved, is it's more of the shoulder blade. So in this case, I am going to use another one of my squares. Now, one may ask, like, what's the difference between the shoulder blade and the seam? So the shoulder blade would be right here. The seam would be right here. So you're going to notice this just a little bit more than you would this. But again, this is more about just adding that little pop, that question of, oh, what does that say? Versus more of like, oh, that's just the left chest, but now it's on the back. So it's a left shoulder. All right, just using one of the 2x2 squares that we have. And I do have some wrinkles from the last pillow use. So and I need to adjust my pressure. Just gonna try to iron that out, flatten it out. Okay. So right there she goes. Actually going to move it in just a little bit. Now, obviously, if you're using the shoulder placement, I wouldn't recommend going with a full back just because those are going to be clashing with each other. But you could easily do one of the bottom hip placements. Man, I need to put a string on this. That way it can just like bounce off of my press whenever I'm done. All right, so that's where we are on the shoulder placement. Okay, so similar to the square would be the back hip. So we're going to go ahead and do that even though I have the and here part of this logo. This is still very, very popular when it comes to locations, especially if you're not using the front hip, then utilizing the back hip. Even with the bleaching trend that I am seeing now, which I understand isn't necessarily the corporate world, but they're bleaching sections of the shirt and then putting a pattern or a logo in that location. So that would be the same thing. You're bleaching your hip, you're bleaching, your front pocket, and then that's where the logo is going versus, the standard, the standard center. Okay, so we have a couple of other logos. Now, a little more odd of a place. Would be under the armpit. So what I'm going to do is on the left side, let's go to this view. There we go. Would be placing it right here. Smaller, yes, I would almost go more about this and here size, but I did not duplicate that size, so I have a smaller one like that we can use. Again, it's more of a streetwear kind of trend. It's just something a little unique. You could put the date of an event in that location. You could put a certain word. There's so many things that you could put that is more unique to a brand rather than marketing the brand, if that makes sense. It could be a special saying, a special event. That's what I would utilize that location for versus like, a construction firm. Let's see. Okay, Neil, this is a district blend and it's a 50-50. Sorry, I'm looking at my computer screen and not at you. District 50-50. Let's see. Okay, what would be, let's switch the camera. What would be the best method to print on seam of shirt? Will the print be tight? If you mean tight, do you mean butt up against the seam, or do you mean the material actually laying on top of the seam? Both. If you're using a really, really thin material, then you're going to see that seam more. If you are wanting it to be butt up against the seam, then use a pillow, and then because you have that clear carrier, you can just get those words as close to that seam as possible. Hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't, kind of clarify a little bit more in comments and we will definitely get back to you. That was a comment on YouTube. So I know if I go back and watch the video, I have a hard time sometimes seeing comments. So make sure you do go ahead and clarify now. That way I can see it before we end. Okay, I see you guys are just kind of popping on now. So thank you so much. This is what we have done thus. Whoa, I tripped over my press. This is what we have done thus far on creating some unique placements. All right, let's keep going. If I can. Okay, we're going for the armpit. Trying to figure, let's do the right armpit. Now, in this case, I am going to use a Print Perfect pad, which is this guy. It's pretty thick. It's very, very dense. It doesn't have a lot of squishiness to it, but it is very flexible. Okay, so I am just going to stick this up under there to raise. I probably would still use a pillow because the seam cannot go into that. So we're just going to go back to the pillow. All right, now what I'm also doing is just having that pillow kind of fall off of the platen just a hair, because you're going to have that Teflon covering the pillow, and I want to make sure that our logo is actually on the pillow, not on the part where it's just Teflon. Okay, well, this might be, trying to think. This might be upside down in terms of seeing it how I want, but you will get the drift. All right, cover sheet. And 8 seconds. Let's see. My and didn't get stuck down, and part of that is because it was not all the way on top of the pillow. So that is one of the reasons why I was saying, let's see. So I'm just going to go back over and press that just one more time. I know nobody's wearing the shirt, but I do want my material to adhere. It's moving on me. Okay, one more time. Third time's a charm, right? All right, next up, let's see. Like you guys can see, I don't even know what's on the back of my, is it this part? I'm gonna have to apparently look in the mirror. All right, now our A is down and I am happy and I can move on. Okay, so I'll stay at this view. So far, we have done our standard left chest and our full front. We've added in a crew. We have, or excuse me, neckline. We have added in the shoulder seam right here. We have added in a hip overseam placement. We have added the hemline text right here. We have added in the armpit logo right there. So as you can see, you can't really notice it when your arm is down. And then of course, if you lift up, you can. I would almost do an over the seam or almost, let's see, right in this region, just so from the front, you can't really see the font unless somebody is lifting their arm, then you would notice that something is placed right there. For the back, we have done a shoulder placement. As you can see that this is the seam placement. Then we have done the back hip logo. And then we have also done another vertical placement. So of course you could do the vertical placement here instead of the square logo that we did. That would just be another way that you could utilize that hold side seam. Okay, so of course we can't do the left chest and the full front without doing a sleeve. So this is when I'm going to use my Print Perfect pad. Adjust my pressure. Now, a couple of ways to make the seam unique is that you could actually use a small logo. Excuse me. Yep, we're over here. You could use a small logo. So again, the 2x2 square. You could go 1 by 1 or 0.5, like 0.5, 0.75, and do more of the leather, like just a little branding piece. And then of course you could also do text, but we're going to stay in the 2x2 square. The 2x2 square. Let's just clean that up. Now there is already a middle seam, a crease mark on the shoulder. So that's kind of what I'm gauging as the midpoint. Because that Print Perfect pad does add density to it, you have to really, really loosen your pressure. So I'm still at a 7, which is a little high. All right, you guys, I have 2 left. I have 2 logos left. So I'm curious, are there some placements that you have seen that I have not shown you? That way we can actually put it on the shirt. So I'm going to give you just a minute to respond and see if we are missing anything immediate. And then we'll see if there's anything else or where else you could do it. Let's see. I'm going to go over questions just really quick. That way, if there's any spots that you recommend, pop it in the comments. I'll get it added to the shirt. I'm actually thinking of one right now, so I might as well do it. It's a little random, but let's still do it. Okay, I'm going to scroll. Is it Monday? No, it's Thursday. Okay, I'm going to scroll through the comments. Okay. Okay, so you have center neck and endurance, left rib, good vibes. see it if it's me. But yes, I do like those placements, especially along the rib. The back bottom hemline. Love it, Neil. We'll get it added. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Already had that one on there. Let's see. Crosstown 619. You are very, very welcome. Thanks for such a great comment. That means a lot. I'm glad that this kind of added a little bit of inspiration in terms of where you could utilize the shirt. It's location, 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 right? Same thing for retail space or brick and mortars. Go the same thing for garments. Let's see. Eagle Eye, I'm gonna have to take my jacket off and find this spot. Just making sure I'm not missing any other questions. Let's see. I know I'm quiet now, huh? Let's see. Okay, so for the most part, like I was saying, you guys, this is just a great way to utilize and show your customers what you can do. Sometimes it's easier to wait for the customers to come to you and say, hey, listen, you know, this is what I'm looking for, but there's a lot of customers out there that aren't in our world or aren't in our decorating world or graphic world, and they need that little budge. They need that little push to be told, hey, this would be really cool. This is what I'm seeing trending, especially if you have a pretty modern company and they look for what's the newest thing, what's the newest technique, what's the best way for us to get, you know, our logo on our garments. Because you're a heat printer, you're a heat decorator, you know, you have so many different options, and you can go to your customers and say, listen, this is exactly where you should have this logo. You are in X market. This is why I think you should have the hip placement, the side placement. So hopefully that kind of just guides you a little bit further when it comes to just really communicating with your customers. The cool thing about Stahls is it's our job to help educate you in terms of what's new, what's trending, materials, you know, utilize us and to recommend, you know, the best products for whatever the job is. So kind of the same thing goes for your customers as well. Recommend to them what's going to set them apart from, you know, the next person. All right. So Neil said back bottom hem. So we're going to do that one really quick. Let's see. And then that's going to be the last one, just because a lot of these could be slightly repetitive, and it just depends on if you are going with a font or if you are going with a logo. An actual logo or design is going to take up more space most of the time. So, and here, right back at the bottom, and cover sheet. Now, because I used the Print Perfect pad, I did adjust my pressure a lot. Still very, very light. We were at a 3. That was even like 4 full twists. I'm going to adjust it one more time and then go ahead and reheat apply. I just don't want anything lifting. 3 is low pressure, and we definitely need it to be at a medium. All right, you guys, hot peel. Okay, quick recap. On the floor. Quick recap. This is a district made 50-50, very, very soft. I believe this is actually a women's fit. I don't know. RN number just says 90836, but a lot of times that's very difficult to go in and find exactly what item that is. And then we used Ultra Weed, get you that correct color. And it is royal, like I said at the beginning. I was hoping it was royal blue and not like a bright royal blue or something that had a little bit of information tied to it. So Okay, you guys, like I said at the beginning, I do have this in a PDF format. If that is something that you want, please email me. Don't drop your email below because sometimes Facebook and YouTube hides the comments. So my email is Kelly, Kelly, _Walters @stahls.com, STAHLS, and I'll be more than happy to send that PDF over to you. So all I did just in terms of what you would be getting is just a layout of the here and here, try here with the arc, the squares to size. This is everything that would be in that file. That way you don't have to go and create it on your own. Just know that it would already be done for you. So, okay. You guys, thanks so much for tuning in live today. We always appreciate it. Tune in on Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I will be live with you. Jenna will be live next Thursday. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you have subscribed to our channel on YouTube. That way you can get the most up-to-date education. We are popping out content left and right on all platforms. So we really hope that we can inspire you and educate you to move forward in your business. I'm Kelly Walters, and thank you guys so much for tuning in to Stahls Heat Printing Channel. See you later. Bye.